I wasn't going to do a video. I wasn't going to do a video on this. And because this, I'm making a claim. And this is a video. Also to the public, and I'm also making a claim for 20 EV 92592. And unfortunately, because I was blessed, I was able to be blessed to move. And as of this video, I'm doing this video from my, current apartment that I moved to. I still stay in the area, but still, it was an expense, a U-Haul expense. And I'm going to address some things, and I'm going to share some pictures in this video. And my heart goes out to the other people who also were affected. Now, my apartment was on the same side of the fire, and my apartment was like one floor down. But the people that were on the fourth floor, the floor above me, I saw pictures and stuff like that. I was really close to going to the fourth floor, but I should have went to the fourth floor and did video and whatever the case may be. But I'm going to share some pictures and some little clips in this video to share how I was affected. Now, people can say all they want to, and they say, oh yeah, you didn't deal with too much, damage or whatever the case may be. But the truth of the matter is, we were told we had to have our stuff out by July 11th. Now, I had to take off work. I didn't plan to take off work that day, but I unfortunately had to take off work and use annual leave, which I didn't plan to use. I shouldn't have had to use it. We should have been allowed more time. And many of us signed a something that we signed a document under duress. Now, even after we were allowed to go in there with assistance, we come back, we had to sign this paperwork. Now, everybody wasn't going to sign that. Those people didn't sign it. But the truth of the matter is, I'm making this video to bring awareness that people were affected, and thankfully nobody was injured or died from the fire. But it is known that it was like, we've been told different things. We were told the guy that was blocking the door, he was like somebody was cooking or something. Then the other story came out that it was lightning. Now, that's the thing that we were told. Now, we were later, some days later, giving like a refund, like, how they get you from the holding fee or whatever type of fees that we were. But that little amount was not enough. And thankfully, the Red Cross was, I was able to give like just $350. And the other was the other. But that expense got used to, the expense got used to U-Haul. But they don't think about it. Even if you had a storage unit, which I had a storage unit, I could not, and because of my expenses that came out towards this situation right here, I was not able to rent the this month when the time came around to pay my rent for the storage that I already had prior to moving in. I did not have the money to pay the storage at the time. So I had to, go towards that, hold it towards another time. Should someone decide to donate, that would be appreciated. But I'm going to share some pictures. I'm going to share some video. But unfortunately, people, they don't get it. And because those were considered luxury apartments, and you had to have, stuff together when you moved into that apartment complex. I don't know that all the situation with the other people, but I was affected. And even if people's certain amount of people's belongings weren't destroyed, but I know people's belongings were destroyed, because especially them people that were on the 4th floor, and even if you weren't on another floor, the apartments were flooded. So when I went to get my other things before they pumped the water out, there was flooding. So if you had your stuff close to the floor, or whatever the case may be, and I had papers that, got wet and different things like that. But even that, and then the situation with getting stuff out of the apartment, and I heard people's stuff were missing. And I don't doubt that there were stuff missing, because I let that thing slide with the lady with the Worcestershire sauce, the little thing, type of sauce that you might put on your meat. Now the lady said, "Can I take this for you?" This Hispanic lady, she was like, and I thought she was going to help me move the stuff. Now she wanted the sauce. Now I let that thing slide because this sauce has been sitting there and I hadn't used it. Now I could claim that, which, because that's the sauce you get from Costco. You get the 2 big sauces. Now, I can't really claim, because I really got my food out and, took it to my, to my dad's and stuff. But so everything did not, because they cut off the electric of the refrigerator for like at least a day. And then the stuff, whatever you could salvage, you salvage. Everybody wasn't able to salvage all that stuff, because some people's stuff that you can't go without 24 hours. Now, I'm not going to try to make this video as short as possible. I'll just enclose some pictures, some video of some things that I dealt with, and I had to wash my clothes because it had an odor. I had to wash. I literally had to take, because the amount of stuff I had to wash, I washed the laundromat and stuff like that. But I had to, that was an expense. You had to wash all your clothes, certain amount of your clothes if you had clothes that were left. Now, thankfully, I had certain electronics on me, because I had went out of town and I came back and I had my other stuff on me. But thankfully, stuff was in the coat closet. Wasn't, that I had some of my other stuff in. It wasn't, I didn't deal with any damages in that. But I never bought a sofa. I never bought a television. So all I had was mainly some tables and some chairs. And a lot of my stuff was in storage units. I mean, not storage units, but storage containers. But I was affected. And that big U-Haul expense that I could have used, that I would have used towards insurance, even the renter's insurance and other insurance, the car insurance and different things like that, got used to the U-Haul bill. And unfortunately, because of the time and because I got new insurance, they decided to, we canceled this insurance because you have to replace it with new insurance because, where I'm at now, you have to have renter's insurance required by law. Have to have renter's insurance. So the same insurance company had to put a new policy. But I still need assistance from this policy. But trying to get people to, and they say, oh yeah, these people weren't affected. Now, just because you live in a nice apartment, and they were nice apartments, they were newer construction, just because you lived in a nice apartment, they just assume, okay, these people have money. They have money to pay for pay for new belongings and stuff like that. But the purpose of getting renter's insurance, you're supposed to have renter's insurance. And if your renter's insurance say, oh, we don't want to cover that, which I'm hearing, you don't want to cover that. And then on top of that, that's a lawsuit there because, your renter's insurance and the people who own the property, they decide that, we want to start demolition on July the 12th. Now, mind you, it happened on June the 29th, and they're giving you less than a month to get your belongings out. Now, I can show you pictures. I'm going to show you pictures where it wasn't like the building was going to fall apart, if you kept going in there. But, they had the generator, to generate the building or whatever the case may be. But it should have been, they should have allowed more time. Now, mine is July the 4th because that was the holiday. Now, we should have allowed that extra day, or and people somebody already know that even when it is demolition done, they don't do, they're not going to just tear stuff down within 2 weeks of when something's considered condemned. Now, hopefully somebody will watch this video and not just throw it to the side, because I'm making this public and I didn't realize, because the way they talk like it, the fire, but when you have your stuff and you have different people coming in and through your apartment complex, because when I came back the other day, the apartments, they had them unlocked. So any of those people who were coming in and out the building, they could easily nab your belongings out of those different apartments, because all the doors because the contractors coming in and out were unlocked. Now I look, stuff is out of, different out of place. They had the smoke detector was over by the sink. And I'm just looking at it. I'm like, I had to throw out my other food storage container because I don't want, it's coming from the water that was, dripping. And I'm going to disclose some pictures and video behind this. Now, you can look at you see the fire on top, and whoever's apartment was on the 4th floor, the little light complected lady, the little small light skinned lady, hers was on the 4th floor right at the fire. And you saw and I'll see if I can link the news report. And I was wearing this shirt, and if you see me on the news, I was on Channel 4, and they were showing where the 4th floor, where it was affected the most. Now, somebody mentioned about lightning rod. There were no, But I'm going to disclose some video. I don't know how long you're going to watch the video, but I'm going to try to disclose what I can on this video and try to make it under 30 minutes if I can, because people don't have time to sit down and watch this. All right. Get rust. But you probably can wash it off. You'll find out if you can wash it off. Oh, let's say goodbye. Bye-bye, partner. Bye-bye, partner. Just one last video for the go. All right. This is the spot where they were. When I moved in, let this air move. Let this one go. Just see it one last time. See it one last time. That's your building. One last time. Look at me about the community. Look at all these air mover fans. Air mover fans. Oops. That's not my apartment. Okay. And when I'm moving on, I'm gonna really miss it. Where I can stand outside my window and Royal Farms is just there, right there. That's a little. I wanted to show more pictures, wanted to show more video, but my apartment wasn't as neat as it could have been. But I'm going to share a little bit of clips from the 16th, that same day when we was on the news, when I was wearing this shirt. And I'm going to share a little bit from the clips that some of the clips from the 16th. What wasn't shared on the news.
The officials that are here and any organization that's here that can provide services to the community. Each of them are going to, give some words. And again, I know that they have reached out to all of us to see how that they can help, right? So, again, thank you especially to Ms. Adams. She's really worked hard, and we're so very, very, very grateful for her help. So, with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to her for some words. Thank you so much. Okay, so listen, I've spoken to most folks here. I'm a former teacher. I don't need this microphone. You have to hold them close to each other. So hold it right here. So, I'm very, very sorry to know about what has happened to you all here. And as I've said to so many folks here, we really believed, and I think most local elected officials here believe that your displacement due to this fire was being handled and you were being treated with dignity and that you were being treated with care. And what we found out from talking to a lot of residents is that that wasn't the case in many instances here. We've heard some stories of folks where their insurance claims are not being processed, they're not being allowed to get their items are missing. And if it's ringing a bell, give me a head nod and tell me if we're on the right track. But a lot of folks have reached out about some of the challenges that they've had, not only with their insurance companies, but also with the property management company, and that you haven't been able to get the resources that you need. And so as soon as we were alerted by Ms. Green and Latasha Ward, who's a community advocate here, we've been working around the clock to get you the resources you need. We've had a lot of collaboration from the county, and I want to just acknowledge Deputy Chief Spriggs, who's here. He is our deputy fire chief, and he has been the one that's going to be leading the investigation here. So he's here to listen and to show support, and we want you to know that you are not out here by yourself. And there was a lapse here in terms of us being able to connect with everyone, but now that we've been able to get connected, our office is completely open to you. We also have support from Councilwoman Ivy's office. She's got folks here as well, and you are going to get all of our contact information. And as Delegate Austin, who's probably on her way here, will say, doing business here, in our county, we want businesses to stay here, but you have to treat our people well. You have to treat our people well. And so that's something that our job is to hold those folks accountable. And so you have to let us know if something is happening to you. And, I want to make sure that you all have our contact information, that you're connected with our office. All of these donations that are here are from the community. These are from Redeemers Church, is from UCAP, Wegmans, Costco. These are the places that we shop. And when they found out, they said, oh, come get it today. So as you can see, I think we were assuming the best, right? We were assuming that you guys were getting the support that you needed from, your insurance companies and from the rental company. And now that we know that you need more support, we're here to support you. And I will say our county executive is here to support. She sent her agencies are here today to help folks get housing. If you need emergency housing, all those folks are here today to help you. And so I just wanted to make myself available. We'll be here to ensure you guys, this is all for you. I think there's even more stuff coming, and I want to make sure anyone else who'd like to speak has an opportunity. We have some folks from OCR as well. If you'd like to come up and speak, Ms. Murn. And Deputy Chief Spriggs, you just whatever you want to do. If you don't want to speak, you don't have to listen. That's fine. If he doesn't want to, it's all right. He was here to just listen and support and to show his support for everyone here. So I don't want to put him on the spot if he doesn't want to. Okay.
I'm not the only one.
First and foremost, thanks for the opportunity to be here. We are all heartbroken with what you've gone through, and just know that we are trying to conclude this investigation as fast as we can. We have an idea of how this began, but we want to make sure that we follow the process to make sure we get it correct, because we want to make sure that you all get everything that you deserve with regard to this investigation. So hopefully we'll have some results out for you very soon. We will work with your insurance companies. All they have to do is contact us. They normally hire private investigators that will come out and speak with us and invite us to come to the scene. So we'll await those calls, but for now we're here just to show support for you all. Whatever you need from the fire department, just let us know. We'll be glad to step in and lend a helping hand. So you all are our first priority, and you always will be. We just want you to know that.
Thank you so much. We also have been able to secure some legal support for you all as well. So this is a representative from Community Legal Services, and I want her to share what she's able to offer you all here as well. And I don't know if this is going to come on, but we're working with this. I have to yell, but it's
hold both of them. That's okay. I can be loud.
Just try this one right here. It look like it's lit up.
Tosh, you need to plug this thing in, Tosh. That's what
I was.
It's yellow. This one's yellow, so I don't think it's helping. My name is Lisa Sorrow. I'm Director of Advocacy and Litigation at Community Legal Services, which is a nonprofit legal services provider here in Prince George's County. We are available. We'll make ourselves available to the council and to others who are available to help you. I did want to just point out, I have reviewed a release that apparently has been circulating to allow you all to get in and gather your belongings. And I would urge you to speak with an attorney before you sign anything like that, any type of release. There does appear to be in the release that I reviewed, I can't give anybody individual legal advice right now, but there does appear to be a very broad release of all liability included in that release. The second one, I haven't seen the first one, but before you sign anything releasing liability, do speak with an attorney, review it carefully. I could understand them having, I could understand them having an assumption of the risk form, so that when you go in and get your property, they're not liable for any injuries you might sustain when you're getting your stuff out of your apartment. But the release that I saw did appear to go beyond that general assumption of the risk. So again, I can't give individual legal advice to every single person, but do be careful about signing any releases like that. We're available to help. We'll speak more with the county council and any of the delegates that come, and be available to help anyone. And I'm so sorry that this has happened to you all.
Okay, just kind of inject right here. Why are we passing this mic?
My mic. Like we tore these mics up.
So, just wanted to inject on a little bit. As I explained to, there was an emergency meeting called on yesterday, which helped support this meeting tonight. So this is kind of like we're in the middle of the road. We've been going through this for probably almost 3 weeks. So they're coming in like trying to meet us in the middle. So some unfortunately did sign the release under duress, and others did not. But we will take her advice, and again, as she said, we encourage you to get an attorney, reach out to their office, and get the help that you may feel that you need. So, and then with this being said, I'm going to ask the deputy to speak.
I did.
Oh, you already spoke with Ms. Greco, speaks from behalf of council.
I'm also going to add this other little small clip, which a concerned neighbor, which a lady shared some things, which were some concerns, and I also shared some things as well. Because other tenants from the Woodmore apartments also showed up as well. They also were there to watch and also give some of their opinions. And this other lady in the other building are also sharing some concerns as well. And this is something that is concerning, and there are good apartments. And I will say this, they are nice apartments, and no discouragement on somebody who wants to move into Woodmore apartments. They were good apartments, and they were nice apartments. Unfortunately, the situation happened with that one building, but they are nice apartments. Wish the bathtub would have been bigger, but they're nice apartments. And also, and I would say they just need to build it, a little stronger, the roofing stronger and whatever. Long as it's no fire or whatever the case may be, I'll just say to people, they want to move there. I'm not encouraging them not to move there. They're nice apartments. And the little time that I was there, it was pretty quiet. You hear, cars pass by every so often. The metro runs really good there through the Largo subway station. We're not that far from the Largo subway station. And the buses run regularly through that if people are, and it's right on the metro line, and the buses run late or whatever the case may be. But I just have some concerns, and I'm going to share another clip from the 16th, the same day the news was there, but everything wasn't caught on the news. And there are some concerns, and people need to look into those concerns. And the owners need to look into that concern as well, because people are looking at the legal action against the owners of the Woodmore apartments as well. And then to add, people are going to address the renter's insurance and the insurance company, because the insurance company, when you get an apartment, they're supposed to cover it. And even U-Haul expense. My big expense with this was the U-Haul. And it took a lot of my money. It was like as if I had lost certain items, because I had to pay for U-Haul. And that's added expense that I shouldn't have had to deal with, because they did not allow us enough time to get their belongings, because they had a duress form that people sign in duress. Unfortunately, I ended up signing one of them, certain forms or whatever, under duress. Now, all of us didn't fully read everything through what that was, but we were then allowed to go, and they didn't, have to have an we didn't have to have an escort. The first days we had to have somebody come in behind us, and somebody from the Mural property management company. But the thing is, there are some concerns, and it's deeply troubling. And the owners, the insurance, which my insurance is getting my disclaimer, my claims, I need to be compensated for a certain amount of expense as far as U-Haul, because I had to move my belongings abruptly because they said they gave us less than 2 weeks to get our stuff out of the apartment. And someone who knows about demolition, they know that they're not just going to start demolishing certain, buildings at a certain time. But anyway, I'm going to add this other clip, and I'll add a little bit more clips and show the sign that was on the door as well. But I'm really going to miss this. I missed the Woodmore. I was only there. I moved in on April the 11th. From April the 11th to June the 29th to really have that and to have to look for another apartment again. Thankfully, as of this video, I'm sitting in another apartment, in the area. But I'm thankful for it. But still, that expense took a lot of that U-Haul expense took a lot of my money from my account, which may cause me to pay, would cause me to pay even the insurance, my insurance for my car insurance and whatever insurance, because I have my insurance bundled up. It's going to cause me to probably barely make it if I don't have the financial, financial intervention. It's going to put me up really close on making my payment towards my insurance. But thankfully, I'm working. I'm working full time with overtime and stuff like that. But the money that's coming, the following check this video, it's going to end up being used towards my rent of the first of the month, because the first of the month is right around the corner, and I have to use the next most recent payroll check coming to pay for my rent. And I got to avoid I can't pay my car insurance right away, because I had the car insurance, which is bundled with my renters and life insurance. I can't pay it right away because, I have to pay rent. And then just because of the U-Haul, the expense, the unexpected for the U-Haul, it would be nice if as of watching this video, that my insurance would waiver my insurance payment for the month to actually cover, whatever the expense that I had from this. Now, my car was recently getting stolen and recovered, and that was another expense, and just so many, just various expenses that I'm dealt with recently. And, even if you work a good job, these people, especially, and I care concerning about the light-skinned, the lady that was, she was right at the fire. And you'll see if you watch the news clip, she was affected drastically because her apartment was right at the fire. You saw the video, the picture from the fire. If your apartment was right there, whatever you had, thankfully her and her son was able to make it out, and the people that were on that floor were able to make it out, alive without injuries. But still, they had belongings and things that, and even I'm going to have close my P.O Box, and I want to be a blessing. My heart is to be a blessing to the people, especially the light-skinned lady that had that dealt with it more severely, because her floor was right at the fire. The fire was, but insurance companies, they need to understand and overstand wavering. Anyway, that people, regardless, even if you weren't on the 4th floor, there was large flooding. They pumped out the water, got there like a couple days later, Wednesday. It was happening on the 29th, but when I first went in there, it was flooding, large amount of flooding because, the sprinklers go off and wherever the case may be. A certain amount of my papers that I would have wanted not to get wet, they got wet. But thankfully, certain items were still there and in good condition because I didn't buy a TV or a sofa or whatever. I had these long tables and stuff like that. And, different things like that. I had different small items, and I didn't have that much in my bedroom. I just mostly had the bed. But still, the U-Haul expense affected me drastically. Now, I even wanted to put money in at church, and because of that U-Haul expense, and I need a good cart because I had to return a cart to Amazon because it wasn't assembled. I need a good cart. I have the nice long one of them wagons, that fold up and then or whatever, but I need a good cart. A good cart like the carts that you have at the storage place. But I want mine to be able to fold up. But that's why I thought that cart was going to be. But that's immaterial. But this is concerning. I'm going to enclose another clip.
I didn't live in that building, but I live across the way. And I was just curious. Do we know that it was a lightning strike that caused the fire?
Currently, we do not.
That's not the case. So then,
I'm not ruling that out, but we want to make sure that we rule everything else out before we say definitively what it was.
Okay. Regardless, I guess if it was or wasn't, are there lightning rods on the rest of these buildings currently?
I would have to go back and review the plans, but I don't believe there are.
Okay. So is that something that management is going to be taking care of? Because how did it pass inspections without lightning rods?
Well, they spoke.
So as a county council, what we do is we make the code and the laws. And currently, I don't think there's a law on the books to require buildings to even have that. So that's something that we can talk about. But that's my job is to write the laws. So you tell me what you think a law should be based on the situation that happened here, and that's something that we can perhaps put together for the next legislative session.
I mean, I don't know what the county laws are, but I'm in construction. I've built multiple high rises and things. They've always had lightning rods.
So for high rise structures, lightning rods are required, but this is considered a mid rise.
I mean, my houses have had lightning rods. Those are single family home units.
We're not saying they're not great ideas. It's just not required.
It's just not required at this time. Right
that's
now.
Something. Yes, that should be something.
That's something that
my next question is, we had a power outage. I'm sure it was kind of everywhere last week.
Yeah.
It went out for about 12 hours, and I don't know your county laws here, but it was completely dark in the hallways. I don't know when it actually went out. About 2 hours after the electricity went out, there was no emergency lights left on. That means it was pitch black. 8 o'clock.
Yeah, around 8:30.
Yeah, and then, but after about 2 hours after it went out, there was no emergency lights working. Those are usually on backup generators, just for basic safety. Again, don't know the county laws, but that should be something that we should discuss because it's really putting the rest of us, in a dangerous spot. We have key fobs to get in. And so because we have key fobs, all the doors were open, were unlocked so people could have access. And then that's an issue as well, because then you're defeating the whole purpose of security. We have dark hallways, dark stairwells. I'm on the 3rd floor. I could not see my hands in front of my face if I wanted to. That's how dark it was. Again, I'm not a scared person, but we have children in our building. And it's not just hazardous as far as, physically hazardous. It's safety hazardous from my life. Who knows who would have come into the building?
Don't know if that's something that management, again, can take care of. Maybe we just all get locks, keys to the locks that are currently there. That way the building will actually stay somewhat secure. And then maybe also the generators, like how do we ensure that the next time it's going to go out that we're safe?
That's something we can bring up with, we can just bring that up with the code enforcement and ask about that, what's required for buildings like this. That's certainly something my team and I can write down and follow up with on that. And I've been in contact with the management company, so I'm planning on after this trying to sit down and just bring some of these issues to them. My first thing that I brought to them was people need to get their items out. They said that people can go back in, but as I can see and understand, it's not, safe. It's not safe, and it's getting worse by the day.
So, with that being said, we're trying to create a community to bring some tension around some of the deficits, the issues, right? Irregardless that some of us are not here. So there's an email address. I monitor the email, send an email. We need, unless it's exposed or unless it's unknown, it goes unknown, right? But this is to foster communication, hopefully accountability. When you make a point about management, they need to go, period. Sorry.
Well, I haven't heard anybody speak about the fire alarms and stuff not going off until after the fire.
Well, that came up in the meeting on yesterday, and I'll let the deputy speak a little bit further about that. But I want to piggyback on you, Daphne, what they said, and I forget Ms. Adams, the gentleman that spoke to the lightning rods, what he specifically said in this county, as they just said, the buildings have to be, they're high-rise buildings, so they have to be so high, and if the building contains combustible items. So
That's tall buildings.
well, I'm communicating to you what he communicated yesterday, because believe me, I'm on your question, right? So again, this is something that we need to propose, that it needs to be further looked into, especially in a new building, because a 3-year-old building, this should not be, right?
Yeah.
So we'll make sure we get, the email address is displaced, DISPLACED. Most of you have it. Displaced residents, pure. RESIDENTS@yahoo.com. So the more communities that we can get involved, we can. The other thing I was so very happy with Ms. Adams also proposed. They're writing the United States Attorney General about this situation. I encourage every resident to exactly put your pen to paper, make your own, lodge your own complaints, and also the Consumer Protection Financial Complaint. Put pen to paper, lodge your complaint. And if you want to be part of the larger community that lodges the complaint, send an email and we'll make sure it gets implemented in what we send out. Any other residents have anything to say, anything to ask? This is your time. This is very important. Yes, ma'am.
One of the things what my concern was, they need to have something in place or whatever. If something happens, like to have, just say, like where people could stay in the hotel. Because what happened was when I took the paper to the closest hotel right there, and they were supposed, like, I guess a deal or whatever. I took it over there, and then they were like, I still had to pay $139 a night.
And this was with Red Cross support?
With the Red Cross paper. With the Red Cross paper, I took it over there because I saw some other people that was from over there, and I'm not gonna pay $139, even if that's a discounted rate. So I just went back to my dad's, because my dad is like less than 30 minutes from here. So I've been staying, until today. I'm moving up the street, but it should be something. And I heard about this 27 days able to stay somewhere. I still don't know where the place is where the people can stay, where it's covered for the 27 days. I never got that information.
So you're needing some housing assistance, right?
Well, if I were in that situation, because I went back to my dad.
I understand.
Because he lives in the area. I just went back to my dad's. My dad's cool with it. He just let me crash my stuff in the
So what we'll do is we'll, again, with that email, and I'm going to get your number if you don't mind, and we're going to make sure that everybody knows what the resources and the help that's available.
Yeah.
So to minimize the ease of the financial burden.
Yeah, because everybody doesn't have a family member, you know, that they can just go and crash at, like if they need somewhere to stay right away. I was fortunate I had somebody say, all these people here, some of these people move from out of town or whatever, they don't have a family member or whatever, that or a friend or whatever, that they can go and stay in temporary until they find housing. So they need to have something set up as far as where if somebody has needs something like immediate housing, something set up where they can get housing.
If you had Red Cross documentation in the hotel.
The lady was sharing right when I cut it off. I wish I would have let it, when I cut it off there, where the lady was talking about if I had Red Cross, it should have been, something should have been able to been covered. Unfortunately, it wasn't. I would have liked to not have to move back in with family, even though it was temporary, even though it was about a couple weeks, and I was moving into my apartment on the 16th. But still, people need a place. Churches need, different nonprofit organizations need to have something set up. I might have to have something set up like that. But unfortunately now, I'm dealing with the expense, the unexpected expense of U-Haul and storage, the storage that, that I was not able to get right away. I'm thankful for the people that because I was going to move at the complex across the street from the one that I'm at right now, but they let me put some of my stuff in there temporary. But then I'm thankfully that was able to move, but still, I was supposed to move across the street, and then last minute, within the process of the time, I ended up moving directly across the street from that. So if the renter's insurance or whatever who's seeing this, I was going to move across the street on the 10th, and then something came up and they told me that, we had to move your moving date, and then I ended up moving directly across the street. That's why there was a different, because, I am submitting this to my renters and, to my insurance. But that's another story. I don't know how long people are going to watch this video. All I'm saying is people, ministries, and whatever, and even apartment complexes need to have something set up where people can stay temporary if they are, if there's a fire. And the lady mentioned about the lightning rods or whatever the case may be. That's what I kept hearing. It was a lightning strike. It was a lightning strike or wherever the case may be. But I'm just saying, people's apartments, it was flooding. It was massive flooding. So if people had their belongings or whatever the case may be close to the floor or whatever, I'm sure there was some damages because everything can't withstand certain flooding waters. So what should be done is people need compensation. I need compensation for the U-Haul expense that I unexpectedly had. But I'm going to enclose. I have my P.O Box. I enclose that a lot of times on my videos. I will enclose my P.O Box. And hopefully, people will recover. And I'm thanking for the Red Cross, Red Cross reaching out to me, and they will reach out to you, even though, I was given a case number. I was given things like that. But I'm just saying, the unexpected expensive U-Haul, if you keep extending, because I couldn't just straight up rent. They told me, and U-Haul needs to do better too. They need to have something where they say only, in the summertime you only rent 24 hours. And if you want to extend it, you have to keep calling. And unfortunately, I had to keep calling and extending it 2 more days and extend 1 more day or 2 more days here, 1 more day here. And that racked up. And you get charged per mileage on those U-Haul vehicles, whether it's the truck or the van. The van was a little cheaper, whatever, but it was expensive because I went over the certain amount of mileage. I know I went over the certain amount of mileage, which I had originally mentioned. And they will charge you. And whatever card is on file, which I had a card on file, and because I wasn't paying for it little by little, was because I didn't outright pay for it up front. When you take that vehicle back, they look up how much mileage, and they're gonna charge you the mileage per that day. And that was expense. And, I want to be a blessing to people. And that lighter complected lady, I really, my heart is out to her. The one with the glasses, the little one with the glasses that you saw in the video. And she was also on the news speaking too, because her floor was right at the fire. Right at the fire. Her roof, the roof and stuff, whatever. She was right there. Her apartment was right there. Her son was right there. And my heart goes out to, I wish I could be a blessing to these people myself, but I had an unexpected expense of the U-Haul. And please, I hope this video brings extra information for this, because people, unfortunately, because of the type of apartments they were, and the income that you had to have, unless you had supplementary, because some people might have had something supplement their income or whatever the case may be. But because of the income that you had to have coming in to rent those apartments, the Woodmore apartments, even though information was sent for about low income, assistance, you had to have a certain amount of income to rent those apartments. Even that one bedroom was like I came in when it's like $1,950. And then you add that, I'm paying, just I say $2,000 a month, at least $2,000 a month. Because you add the water and sewage, and then the valet trash, which is nice. I like the valet trash because put your trash out, them little trash can containers, and you put it out, and then certain days a week you put it out, and people get it. And then the Pepco is separate, and I'm like, it's just expense. So I need compensation for that U-Haul. But I'm going to leave that there. And I don't even know how many people are even going to watch this. But this is very important, and I hope people care or whatever. It was warm, and it's been on, even though the oven was not used. You see all the coconut oil melted. Yeah, that's how high it is, and coconut oil melted. Yeah, it is. Well, you can see it better. That's the last of the bag. My stuff in these bags. It's a nice little space. But $40 space. Nice and U-Haul. It's a nice little French balcony. And you can tell about the demolition because you look at all the, you got the, all that. You got all that. You get the John.